In researching this week, I discovered that on average, we speak enough words to fill a 500-page book. The question is, what story are you telling? What book are you writing? Because James, he tells us that there is power in the tongue. In fact, he gives us 3 kind of keys I want to unpack today. And the first is this: the tongue has the power to direct your life. Which should make us think that if we don't like the direction of our life, maybe we need to check where our tongue is taking us. So we could have the momentum of heaven, but if we're heading in the wrong direction, then what's the point? Sometimes we just need to be quiet. Sometimes we just need to be silent for a moment and stop letting our mouth, as Proverbs says, take us in the wrong direction, make us look like fools. And I wonder how many times in our life we've talked ourselves out of the design and direction that God has for our lives. The tongue has the power to direct. But not only that, the tongue has the power to destroy. Because how many people know that even today, even as Jesus followers who call this place home, that we have trouble taming the tongue? How often we forget that this small little tool is a weapon. And James, he's telling us here, hey, the tongue, it has the power to destroy. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? How one singular word can kind of ruin your day? And that's kind of lighthearted, but I wonder if maybe you're still trying to shake off a word that's been spoken over your life years ago. I wonder if you're still carrying around the weight of the words that people have said and spoken over or into your life. One word can bring it all down because the tongue is powerful. And maybe you're the kind of person that, like me before, has set a fire with your tongue. And you just wish that you could take those words back. You wish you could just rewind and do it all again. See, there's 2 kinds of fire, right? There's the fire that will wipe out your home, and then there's the fire that will bring warmth, the fire that will bring energy. And the good news is if the power of the tongue can bring destruction, then the tongue can also bring healing. And finally, the tongue has the power to define. And then James goes on to talk about 2 kinds of wisdom. He says, we read it before, if you have selfish ambition and envy in our heart, then hey, I got news for you. That's going to come out of your mouth. Where does it come from? From our heart. See, your tongue, it actually gives definition to your heart. The tongue has the power to define. If your words aren't lining up, then it's probably because your heart is not connected to the right source. We as a body of Jesus followers have continually got to get closer to the source. If you're wondering who that is, it's Jesus and his word. I wonder this morning if we could sow a different kind of seed with our words. Salty water doesn't just become fresh. It has to be connected to a different source. I wrote this down this week and I hope it encourages you. I wrote that a critical heart, it produces a critical tongue. A self-righteous heart produces a judgmental tongue. A bitter heart produces an angry tongue. An ungrateful heart produces a grumbling tongue. But a loving heart produces a gracious tongue. A faithful heart produces a truthful tongue. A peaceful heart produces a reconciling tongue. A trusting heart produces an encouraging tongue. When we get our heart right, our mouth starts to reflect it. Why do we recognize that we want to encourage people and involve them? Because we realize that our mouth is a weapon. And instead of hurting people, instead of tearing each other down, we want to speak life to one another.